It's Monday night, and it's time for our very own Monday Night Euro review. As always, this is the Anglo-Italian Pod, and I'm Tommaso, and you can find us on Instagram at Anglo-Italian Pod. And as always, I'm joined by my co-host,
Rory, of course, and you can find us on Twitter at Italian Anglo Pod. Tommy, how was your weekend? We didn't see each other this weekend. How was your weekend?
Well, I was talking about it with your cousin Chris. Ever since Inter have won the title, I was like, Chris, have you gone through it in the past 2 seasons with Liverpool? After you've won the title, after you've won the Champions League, football is a little more tasteless. I didn't even watch the Inter game. I was out with some people. I was checking the score. Great feeling. I didn't have to worry about anything. Even if we lost, we would have the title. It was a great win. I feel like there is a lot to talk about today, Rory. But how was your weekend? And especially fantasy football, I feel like, was a big part of it.
Honestly, all my luck from fantasy football came in at one weekend. So if anybody kept a close eye on Serie A this weekend, I had in my starting 11 Osimhen, Gagliardini, Sanchez, and who else? There was someone else. I think that was it. No?
Dude,
and
no.
Dragowski clean sheet. Yes.
Dragowski and Rory, I did backtrack all the Fiorentina games from this season. This is only the 8th game in 35 where they have not conceded a goal.
Good work, Dragowski. Honestly, I thought so. First, it came through Osimhen 2 goals. And I was like, of course he's got 2 goals. The guy's been killing it since he came back for Napoli. But then to see that the 2 or 3 of Inter's goals were from Sanchez and Gagliardini, I was like, this is just insanity.
And also assisting each other, Gagliardini and Sanchez, as if it wasn't enough.
And Ashley Young assist as my right back. And then Dragowski clean sheet. What a weekend. I think the missus was kind of getting a bit fed up. We were on our weekly walk that we do. And my phone kept going. I was like, oh, I've got another goal in my team. There's another goal. So, oh, great. Brilliant. Yeah, I'm really happy for you. I'm like, this is amazing.
Spoiler alert for our viewers and listeners. Rory is still going to be relegated.
I am very much the Sheffield United of our league, but I'm going down with a fight. I tried to translate it directly into Italian, but it didn't really work. I said,
oh, no.
Andando giù con una lotta, right?
Con una lotta, sì, vado
but
giù
I thought it didn't
combattendo.
really work. Perdere con onore? I don't know. Anyway.
That's a good one. Perdere con onore. It sounds a little fascist, but we'll take it.
I'll take that.
Con onore. Great. So, first thing that we want to talk about today in Italy at 2 p.m. on a Monday, as always on Mondays at 2 p.m. It was the most important match day in Serie B. Rory, what do you make of this very Italian decision to play such key games on a Monday at 2?
It's like they're actively trying to piss off lower league fans. There's no other rationale for going, right, we've got key games where teams could get relegated or promoted. This is a great opportunity to promote the league, guys. You know, we can really get hype, get people watching Serie B. Okay, good. Right. When do we put it on? Monday at 2 o'clock. Okay. Is it a bank holiday? No. Okay. I just cannot understand any level of logic. So I was sat in we were doing a school debate with 2 classes today, and I was one of the judges, and I cleverly had my phone behind my water bottle so I could watch Salernitana Pescara as the debate was going on. But it really, really annoyed me as I kind of understand why a lot of people in this country don't give a shit about lower league football now. It's because the federation don't give a shit about lower league football.
Yeah, they actively try to make it less interesting. I think that if you ask them, their answer would probably be nobody would have watched the games on the same day as a Serie A. But at the same time, put them on a Friday night, put them on a Saturday morning, but not on Monday when people are working during their lunch break. The end of their lunch break doesn't make any sense to me. Regardless of this decision, Empoli have officially won their 3rd ever Serie B title and are back in Serie A after 2 seasons. Now, I did find a Rory-like stat. Being in proximity to this man all season long has pushed me to find more interesting stats. And
it's
I have
contagious.
one for you. Captain Simone Romagnoli for Empoli is the first player to ever win 4 Serie B titles with 4 different teams.
Oh, I
So
like that.
he got promoted with Pescara in 2011-2012, then with Carpi 2014-2015, Brescia 2018-2019, and now Empoli 2020-2021. What do you make of this little Serie B career, Rory?
I like that. Proper like lower league legend. I kind of think of players like, makes me think of like the English version would be like Darren Huckabee maybe, or which players have been like lower league heroes. Dean Windass, maybe, these strikers that always did a great job in the second division. They get to the Premier League and maybe it was a bit too much for them, but what a career. I love that. Lower league hero, dragging teams into the prime time. A great shout from, thank you, Hopeless Wanderer, Paul Pescasolido. Massive shout. Yeah. Always great in the Championship, never quite as good in the Premier League.
Yeah, because I don't remember. I remember of Simone Romagnoli when he was playing at Brescia in Serie A, but we know that Brescia didn't have that great of a season. And Rory, I will let you talk about the second team that has officially been promoted to Serie A, since you're a little fan of theirs.
I am honestly so delighted about this. So the first game I ever went to in Italy was when I was but a boy. I was like 11 years old, and my dad took me to Salernitana versus Monza. We were on holiday in Amalfi. Yeah, pretty middle class, but it was really nice. And we went to Salernitana, and they drew 1-1. And all I remember from the game was that there was a moat at the ground, and I'd never seen that before.
A moat? What is a
like
moat?
a moat, like where they're filled with water, so the fans can't get on the pitch, right?
Really?
Like, yeah. And then there was like a huge net, and I'm guessing the Salernitana fans expected them to win because at the end of the match they just started throwing umbrellas and shit over the fence, like lighters, and like it was the first time I'd ever seen a crowd quite that hostile in quite an empty stadium. But anyway, I really enjoyed the kit. Is beautiful. If you've not seen the kit, it is an incredible color, especially this year's because it's their centenary. I think 125 years, right? I think. Really beautiful kit, and they're the seahorses. They're really cool, and I can't wait to see them in Serie A. I didn't think they'd ever really get to the top division. The last time they were in Serie A, they had a few names you might remember: Rigobert Song, Marco Di Vaio, and Rino Gattuso. They had a really good team.
Yeah, this is their first promotion in 22 years, since 1999-2000, which means, Rory, you know, what was still standing when Salernitana were in Serie A last? You know,
I think it was a landmark in New York. I feel like Americans are going to start targeting us.
Be more specific.
With planes.
It was the World
I believe
Trade Center.
9/11 was still standing the last time Salernitana were in the top division. I believe.
Yes, it
but
was.
this is going to cause issues for the Salernitana owner. And who is that, Tommy? What's the problem?
His name is Claudio Lotito, ladies and gentlemen, one of the most controversial yet funny figures of Italian football. We still haven't done our special episode on funny presidents and chairmen, but Lotito is definitely one of them. Well, you might have heard the name already. He is also the owner of Lazio, but he's also the owner of Salernitana. Can there be two teams owned by the same man in the same league? No, sir. So Lotito is going to have to make a decision, either sell Lazio or sell Salernitana. This cannot be done to any company that is somehow associated to him, can't be done to any family member of his. So he's going to have to think about it very, very well. This kind of reminds me of when RB Leipzig met RB Salzburg in the Europa League a few years ago. Remember that?
Yeah, well, I suppose this is bound to happen every so often when you've got these people who own so many clubs. It's interesting, though. It's hardly like the financial climate for you to find a like sudden buyer for a club. I don't know. I don't know if there's that many people out there who would be willing to buy, but they need to get this sorted before August, right? I suppose.
Listeners, I see that we have Bryce. I see that we have Luke. Guys, if you Hopeless Wanderer, Steve, are you interested in buying a Serie A club? Please come forward. Salernitana or Lazio which could be a little more expensive, are
I'd
looking.
rather have Salernitana. I'd rather have Salernitana.
And you haven't mentioned their mascot, or have you? The seahorses?
Yeah, the seahorses. It's a great nickname, right? I was trying to find a GIF today to celebrate, and all the seahorse ones were disgusting. I couldn't really do it. It was really them all giving birth. It was horrible.
Yeah,
anyway.
they're kind of weird animals. But the other thing that I would like to say to the Salernitana club, today I tried to tag you in a post on Instagram, and wow, your handles are a little long. US Salernitana 1919 official. I think we can go a little more. Like, I think sometimes of Antonio Brown in the NFL, his handles are AB. How dope is that? Like AB.
Just
boom. And that's me.
Yeah.
US Salernitana 1919 official. Maybe we can work on that a little bit. But
mate, the one on Twitter is ridiculous. It looks like a Wi-Fi password that you get like when it's installed in your house. It's ridiculous. I was like typing Salernitana and it came up. I was like, what? That's their handle? Christ, they need some better marketing, Tommy. I'll get on the phone to them, see if he can give us a job.
Yeah, I mean, we're kind of great at that. But this means that Salernitana and Empoli, Empoli are, of course, the winners of Serie B, are automatically promoted to Serie A. And now stick with me because it took me a few minutes to understand how the playoffs are going to work to decide which third team is going to make it to Serie A. So the fifth classified in Serie B is going to take on the eighth. And the sixth is going to take on the seventh, which means that on May 13th at 6 p.m., Cittadella are going to take on Brescia, and at 9 p.m., Venezia are going to take on Chievo. Funnily enough, three of these teams are all from the same region, Veneto. And the Cittadella, according to a friend of mine who's very into Serie B, are the ones who are the most likely to be promoted. But how does this playoff work? So Venezia, Chievo, Cittadella, Brescia, it's going to be one single game played at the home of the team that ranked higher in the Serie B. So they're going to play in Venezia and in Cittadella. There are going to be no penalties in case there is extra time. So after extra time, whoever is the higher seed is going to advance. Yes, dude. I had to double check, and it's correct. Then Monza will take on, who classified third. We're going to talk about Monza briefly. Will take on the winner of Venezia Chievo, and the Lecce, who finished the fourth, are going to take on the winner of Cittadella Brescia. These games, the semifinals, are going to be 2 legs with no extra time. So whoever, in case they are even, whoever is ranked the higher is going to advance. And the same applies to the final. Why? I have no idea, Rory.
I quite like that idea because I think one of the complaints that people often have about playoffs is that you'll get, so in the championship, it's obviously 3rd to 6th, right? And you'll often get the team that's 6th will go up because they've run into form late at the end of the season, and the team that are 3rd will go out because they've just missed out on automatic promotion, right? Mm-hmm. And I like that the default is still your league campaign because that is what you've put all your work into, right? You've put all your work into a 40, I don't know, in the championship, it's 46 game season, right? And then all of that to go on penalties is incredibly harsh. So I kind of like that they're going, no, still the precedent, like the overruling thing is how well you did in the league. It's a shame because you get less penalty shootouts. And let's face it, we all love a penalty shootout when you don't give a shit, right? But I quite like that. I like that. That seems like surprisingly sensible from a league that constantly try to make things too complicated. I was trying to figure out the Serie C playoffs. Oh my God. I gave up after 5 minutes. I was like, no idea. Idea.
Yeah, no, Serie C that is now known as Lega Pro. I think they really talk to the creators, the minds behind the Dungeons and Dragons or God of War, the video game. And they were just like, can you create something extremely complicated that makes little sense, but it's kind of entertaining? Let's go. But Rory, we've got to move on from Serie B. These games, so the playoffs are starting on May 13th, we've got Venezia Chievo, Cittadella Brescia. The winners will respectively take on Monza and Lecce, and then the finals are going to be played between May 23rd and May 27th. Rory, before we dive into this weekend's football, I received, as you can imagine, plenty of mail from our fans, not even emails, like physical mail, about doing a great edit featuring your rant. Last week, after Arsenal got eliminated by Villarreal, can you tell us a little more about your feelings now that your mind has cooled down a little bit?
Oh, it took me a long time to calm down. I think Friday I walked into school and all the kids were like, "So, are you okay? Are you in a mood?" And I was like, "Oh my God, I was spitting fire." I'm not going to get into it again because my heart can't take it, but one of the most pathetic performances I've ever seen from a professional football team in my life. Arteta, I think I said it in the rant, I don't blame many things from this season on him. This result, I blame on him, hands down. His management was absolutely horrific. His substitutions were awful, but not helped by the fact that he's got a team of cowards that are unable to do anything. I was glad that people enjoyed my rant, or seemed to. I didn't enjoy it at the time. And the second Tommi was like, the second I sent it, actually, I was like, oh, that's probably going to end up on the pod, isn't it? I was like, it's probably going to end up on air. But I apologize to any delicate ears out there, basically, because there was a lot of swearing. That's what I'm like when we're not live on TV. This is me trying to control myself, right?
By the way, just one other point about Serie B. Bryce, Mr. Kobayashi, live on Twitch, writes, and the fun thing about any of these teams that get promoted from Serie B is that they have a decent shot of beating Pirlo's Juventus. Bryce, don't even get me started. We are going to get there. But Rory, I feel like we often give the priority to Serie A. Let's start in the Premier League. I saw that the mighty Gunners beat their opponents this weekend in quite emphatic fashion, including a goal from world's number one enemy, Willian. What did you make of the performance?
Honestly, I saw a great clip on Twitter today of a pundit that was just like, it was from an Arsenal game ages ago, and Arsenal scoring, he just goes, they're running up the left, cross it in, Arsenal score. And there's like no emotion. And the tweet was just how every Arsenal fan reacted watching this game. And it was just like every goal was just like a slap in the face because all of them were really good goals. Like the first goal was beautifully worked from Saka down the left, beautiful volley from Smith Rowe. And you're thinking, yes, boys, where was this? Then Pepe just cuts in and pings one top corner with his left foot. And you're like, why couldn't you do that on Thursday? And then Willian, after 36 games of doing sod all, finally absolutely like couldn't have hit that free kick any better, straight into the top corner. And you just, honestly, the clip of after Willian scores, Arteta's reaction is hilarious. He looks visibly pissed off because he's just like, you can see he's like, oh, now they fucking score. Like, I know West Brom aren't Villarreal, right? I get it. West Brom are awful, but Villarreal got pumped 4-1 this weekend by Celta Vigo. 4-2. Sorry.
I was going to
Emery scoreline. Such an Emery scoreline, but they got pumped, so they're not good either. Like, anyway, look, I think I said it to the Hopeless Wanderer pod on their show last night, actually. Guys, you should check it out. It was a great show, their live feed. I said to them, I'm just relieved that we're not in the final because after this season, I couldn't take losing to United. And United would definitely batter us. Cavani is just next level. We're going to get onto him, but he is unbelievable. But yeah, look, has this season been terrible? Undoubtedly. Have there been any highlights? Not many. But one of them is that we got to relegate Sam Allardyce for the first time in his career. We sent him down. At the beginning of this season, when he took over from West Brom, he said Arsenal are relegation rivals, right? He always... Now, his record against us is all right, but it's not that great, right? He never won away against us. A few of his teams, when he was at Bolton, I want to say, they beat us 2 or 3 times, but he always used to dine out on it like, oh, you know me against Arsenal. I was like, actually, mate, your record isn't that good, so just sod off down to the Championship. And the fact it's his first relegation... I really did enjoy it. I really did enjoy it.
if you were a Tottenham fan, you would probably count it as a trophy. But Rory, talking about Arsenal and Tottenham and the North London rivalry, do you think you're going to win the bet to our friend Max from Minneapolis? Who's going to finish higher in the rankings, Arsenal or the Spurs?
Now, I think the big issue is that we've got Chelsea midweek. That is the game that I'm really, really not looking forward to. Look, all I'm saying, Max, is it's not over yet. It's not over yet. Against Leeds, your lot looked fucking woeful. So I'm definitely not giving up yet. But, we do have the capacity to absolutely shoot ourselves in the foot because we've been doing it all season. But should we go to Leeds-Tottenham?
Let's go to Leeds-Tottenham. A nice little leeway. What happened there, Rory?
Leeds. We're just Leeds. At home, they're top six. At home against the top six, they're still unbeaten for a freshly promoted team. That is a ridiculous record when you think about it. Now, the start of the game was really, both teams were really kind of going hell for leather, like you'd expect from Leeds and from Spurs. Really good pressing, lots of running. But the game kind of turned on. Harry Kane had a goal disallowed for offside. Now, a lot of Tottenham fans were complaining about it being offside. Look, we've said before we don't like the offside rule, but in the modern offside rule, that goal's offside. I'm sorry, you've just got to take it. It is offside. But Leeds are just like the run they've been on at the end of the season. They took a dip, like quite a severe dip around February, March, where they really couldn't get many wins. But now they've just absolutely put it behind them. And I think they're unbeaten in 8 now. Bamford ended his 5-game drought of not scoring, and Leeds just looks like a fun place to be. I love watching them. It was a really, really good game, and it was Leeds at their best. Stuart Dallas as well. There's got to be some props for Stuart Dallas. I think he's played something like 6 different positions this season. He's played all along the back four, all along midfield. He's popped up with quite a few goals. I think in the Leeds team, there's a lot of players that get the limelight, and I think Stuart Dallas needs a little bit more on him because he's been very, very impressive in his first season in the Premier League. For Spurs, that basically puts them out of Champions League recognition now. They're on 56, Leicester on 63, so that has ended their Champions League hopes. All they can do is hope that West Ham continue their bit of a slump and they can catch the Europa League spot, but we'll see. I think, look, Ryan Mason isn't a manager, right? He's an emergency backup until they find someone in the summer. If he can just get them to stay in the same position, I think that'd be fairly successful for him. They can't expect too much from a manager who's never managed before. As Arsenal have found out, you can't expect too much from a manager who's never managed before.
As Juventus have found out this season as well. But the real question is, how about the Dele Alli transformation into Bob Marley? What do you make of it? I think it's pretty dope. I like the dreadlocks, dude.
Yeah, it does look pretty sick, to be fair. I don't like Dele Alli at all, but it is good to see him starting to get a bit of form. Who'd have guessed that without Mourinho, he might actually be happier and start playing football again?
Who would have guessed? But also, I was just looking at the Premier League table, and Leeds have one of the best lines for wins, draws, and losses. 15 wins, 5 draws, 15 losses. This sounds a lot like Bielsa. Just like go all in, guys. Try to score one more than the opponent. Let me take a look. Oh, dude, goals scored, 53. Goals against, 53. Let's go.
It's fun times. Fun times.
They are the only team on 0 goal difference. That's kind of fun. I like it. There you go, Marcelo. Rory, what's up next? I feel like maybe Mendy just hypnotizing Aguero could be the next headline. That was so funny, in my opinion.
Okay, so yeah, Man City really are making this title. They're really taking a long time to wrap up this title race. And if they're going to leave the door open for United are in great form at the moment. I'm not saying, look, City are going to win the league. I just think they're taking too long to see it. Just see the job out, boys, for God's sake. The first half, they were really good. 1-0 up through Sterling. And then on the stroke of half-time, a penalty, which was, I think it was a penalty. Maybe a bit soft, but it was a penalty. And Aguero, the chance to level up on the record with Wayne Rooney for the most goals scored for one club in the Premier League. And he goes for the most telegraphed Panenka that you have ever seen in your life. Like, I've got nothing against the Panenka penalty, but at least make it look like that's not what you're going to do.
Like Pelé. Do you remember Pelé against Germany in the World Cup? That looked at Neuer and said, "I'm going to chip you." Neuer was like, "Fine, chip me." Didn't try to do it, missed the penalty. Yeah.
But Mendy like, you look so stupid when it doesn't work. And like, again, I love a Panenka penalty when it's done properly. I just think that wasn't the time. That was the chance to close out the game. 2-0 at halftime. City aren't going to give that lead away. 1-0, that happens. Chelsea go in at halftime. All Tuchel has to say is, did you see what he tried to do there? Taking the piss out of us. Go show them what we can do. And that's exactly what they did. Second half, City were nowhere. Chelsea were unbelievable. Reece James was causing all sorts of trouble down the right for Ake and Mendy. They just could not keep hold of him. Even Marcus Alonso towards the end was popping up in the box. He's a player that gets a lot of stick, but I think he was really, really effective. And Chelsea get their 2 goals, right? And they just look so terrifying and efficient at the moment. They just look really that cold, hard stare.
Look,
Ziyech
and I'm just sorry to interrupt you. I'm just looking at the stats. Sorry, God, I lost them now. No, but I was looking at the fact that City have lost 5 games all season. Chelsea have lost 7, and all those 7 losses, actually 6 of those losses came before Tuchel took charge. So Tuchel has got 1 loss in the Premier League with Chelsea. Guardiola has got 5 with more games played and everything. But this is exactly what I was trying to tell you when I was saying that I don't think that Man City are going to walk the Champions League final. I think it's going to be a fight, and I think that Chelsea can take it. It's not. I wouldn't be that intimidated. I mean, it's a great team, but I wouldn't go in this game if I were a Blues saying, look, it's probably not going to happen, but it's going to happen. I would go with confidence because I think they have what it takes to win the Champions League.
I've already told you, Tommy, how it works. Chelsea won this game, so City are going to win the final. That's just how it works now.
Right.
Put all your money on the final. Like, all the money on City. I'm telling you, Chelsea have beaten them twice in the smaller games. You know that City are going to beat them in the big game. I'm telling you.
We shall see. But shall we tell our listeners that we have finally, after weeks of talks and decisions, we've made the final decision to live stream our first game ever. We're going to be in the same room watching the game. Rory is going to back City. I'm going to back Chelsea. We're going to do a watch along, and everybody can join and tell us that we're great at it. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, please feel free to join along. The more interaction, the better, because we might run out of things to say. And when I'm forced to speak, I tend to genuinely just say the first thing that comes into my mind, even more so than normal. So it could really be worth watching. It'll be interesting. I think it might make what could be a boring final more interesting, right? Let's just say that.
Our beauty is going to do all the job, I'm sure.
Exactly. But elsewhere in the Premier League, beyond the Champions League final preview, I wanted to also talk about Manchester United. Now, they have, for the 10th time this season, come from a goal behind to win the game. I'm not sure what it is about them having to go a goal behind before they start playing. But the second they concede, they just switch. And in the second half of this game, again, Manchester United were just ridiculous. So Traore opened the scoring for Aston Villa with a beautiful goal, kind of exposing the weakness within United's team, which is their defence. Lindelof really should be doing better there. But in the second half, Fernandes, Greenwood, now this guy, the way his finishing with no backlift is incredible. He hits the ball just like a dart every time. And his close control is insane. When he gets the ball, he always manages to open the space up and find a position for himself. His movement is incredible. I think already, I'm going to say it, he should be on the plane for Euro 2021 with England. He is a great backup to come off the bench. I think he is. For a while, I didn't want to admit that United might have a generational talent on their hands. I'm petty. I apologize. But they definitely do. This guy looks like the real deal. What a goal. And then, of course, who wrapped up the scoring for them, Tommy?
Cavani.
It was Cavani. Of course it was. Today, he has just today signed a 1-year extension to his deal at Manchester United as well. So United fans will be really happy about that. But watching his goal, the run he makes to get on the end of the Rashford cross, his movement is just insane. How he always ends up in front of the defender and in a yard of space. Again, beautiful to watch. He doesn't miss, right? It feels like at the moment when he gets a chance, it goes in. And when he comes on for United, he becomes such a focal point for the whole team. Their whole attitude changes, their whole style of play changes. Like for a while, it was Fernandes that would be that focal point, but now it feels like they've got Fernandes and Cavani. It's like building those little blocks that are getting this team together. I think next year, if they invest and sort out their central midfield, I still think they need a defensive midfielder, someone better than Fred. They could challenge for the title next year. And I dread to say it, but I'm starting to like Ollie. I find him quite likable. Yeah, I find him really likable.
Well, maybe he's finally learned what it takes to be a coach. He's had a lot of luck, I think, to keep him in his job. And when luck favors you so many times at that point, you got to, do your takeaways like, okay, I'm going to build my own style of play. But no, Rory, I want to say that Cavani, I mean, had he not gone from Napoli to PSG, we know the league that PSG plays in. We know what PSG has done in Europe over the years. I think that had Cavani joined, I don't know, Real Madrid or Barcelona or Atletico Madrid or Manchester United when he was a bit younger, I think we would be considering him, but without a doubt, one of the top 5 strikers in the world, because that's who he is. He's a killer in front of goal. He's got an incredible sense of positioning. When he was playing in Serie A, he was playing with Lavezzi, Amsic, but he was often compared to the greatest, like Batistuta type things. I'm not surprised that you don't unlearn to play football. You get older, but if you've got a manager who can feed you in a system where you don't have to spend as much as energy as the other players, then you're going to turn to scoring goals again, especially for a striker. But Rory, new rule at Euro 2021, you can only take one of each name in your squad. So there cannot be 2 Rorys, there cannot be 2 Tommasos. Who do you take? Right. Mason Greenwood or Mason Mount?
Mount. My gut says Mount because Mount has got more experience and he's been more instrumental to Chelsea than Greenwood has been to United, I would say. But that is a close run thing. No, I think it has to be Mount. Thank you, Bryce, for backing me up. I'm glad you said that.
from a United fan, says Mount. I wanted to throw a little spice in the talk.
I like that.
Nice. What about West Ham? Kind of like running out of fuel towards the end of the season.
West Ham fans will look back at this season in 3 or 4 years and they'll say, do you remember that transfer window when we didn't buy a striker? That really cost us. And I think you can see, like, Antonio came back from fitness, bang, a brace against Burnley. This week he just looked a bit tired. And Everton, for the second week in a row, after doing nothing and beating Arsenal, they did nothing and beat West Ham. And it feels like West Ham were just a little bit tired, just couldn't quite get that finish. They hit the post. Literally, Everton had one shot and it went in. Like, it is very negative football, but hey, they won the game, right? There was 2 players that did impress me for West Ham. Ben Rama is really starting to find his feet and starting to look effective. He did have a header that he probably should have scored, but seeing him get in those positions and start to kind of terrify defenders a little bit is good to see. The guy's dribbling is insane. When he played for Brentford in the Championship, he was causing problems. If West Ham can get him to that level, they've got a hell of a player on their hands. And the other player was Lanzini, who was having a hell of a game in the midfield until he injured. In typical Lanzini style, it feels like he's always injured. When you see him, he's really good, but it's never for very long.
But if you look at him too closely, he gets injured.
He's got some delicate hamstrings, I think it is, that always gets injured. But look, for West Ham this season, if you'd have turned around to them at the beginning of the season and said you can have Europa League football, they would have bitten your hand off, considering I think they stayed up on the last day of the season last year. Like, they really did come close to getting relegated last year. So Europa League for them is still a hell of an achievement, like a great achievement. And I think it's a good building block for West Ham. They could bring in some big players next summer if the owners back it, which I think they might. It could be a big season for West Ham and a big statement, as long as they don't get knocked out by a Romanian Premier Division team like they did for the last 2 years. As long as they get past Astra Gugu, then they'll be fine and they could be in the Europa League group stages. But yeah, it's a shame to see them falling away. I just think what struck me was they've got a very small squad. It's always the same players playing. They don't have that depth. The second they pick up one injury, it's a youngster who's playing or is someone who they're not really fancied. I just think they need a bit more of a rounded squad. But great season for them. I don't think they'll be complaining too much.
What was the name of the Romanian team again?
Astra Gugu. Astra Gugu. No, they were called that, but they knocked West Ham out 2 years in a row. 2 years qualified. 2 years West Ham qualified for the Europa League. Both times they drew Astra Gugu, and both times they lost to them. It's the
both times they celebrated and then they lost to them. Nice.
And there is a video, I will put it on Twitter. Tom sent it me of West Ham TV, this guy losing it, and it is... Honestly, it's better than anything AFTV have ever done because it's actually funny. It's the best rant ever. It is, and it's the second time they've lost, and it is fucking genius. But anyway, not to kind of depress West Ham fans, they've had a very good season. They should be very happy. But finally, in the Premier League, because we do have to do Serie A as well, Tommy. I feel like I've been prattling on for a while now.
That's why I wanted the Prem to go first, to give it time and the space.
While we're in England, let's leave the Premier League and let's go to the Championship, right? We need to do a quick bit on the Championship. Now, a game that I forgot to preview last weekend last Thursday, Sheffield Wednesday versus Derby. Now, these are two big historical teams in England, and they were playing each other to stay in the Championship. So, winner survives. It was a mental game. It was 3-3 in the end. So, Sheffield Wednesday went 1-0 up. Then it was 2-1 to Derby. Then 3-2 to Sheffield Wednesday. And then 3-3. Finally, the game ended and Wayne Rooney managed to keep the side in the division. But the interesting thing about this game is that Sheffield Wednesday have only really been relegated because they got a 6 points deduction for financial irregularities, right? Ooh. Now, they were taking points away. And at no point was it mentioned this is punishing the fans for something the club has done wrong. Right, but the second it comes to the big six, you can't punish the teams. You can't do that because it punishes the fans. It's not the fans' fault. Again, another level of hypocrisy within the FA, within the Premier League, whoever's decision it is. I just wanted to point it out. It was a fantastic game of football. Genuinely, like what I love about the Championship. Incredible entertainment, but just tinged with that. Why is it so unfair all of the time? So it's a shame to see Sheffield Wednesday go down. Personally, I'm happy Crew Alex get to travel to next year, which is pretty exciting. It's like a big team for Crew to be able to play. So another big side in League One. League One could be a very good league to watch next year. Some of the big sides down there. But Wayne Rooney keeps Derby up but now Derby could get relegated anyway because they're in financial trouble, so it could all be for nothing. But elsewhere in the Championship, in positive news, we have Norwich and Watford have already been confirmed to be promoted. And in the playoffs, we have, now these are going to be great games, Brentford versus Swansea and Barnsley versus Bournemouth. So they are on Monday next week, and we should, touch wood, have some guests coming on to talk to us on Thursday and maybe again on Monday to talk about the Championship and the playoffs ahead. I think that's England done. Oh, also Bolton got promoted. Come on, Bolton, from League 2 to League 1, back on their way back to the Premier League. Great to see them coming back.
Yeah, and one thing I want to tell you, Rory, crossing my fingers, big time for each of our viewers, but if fans will be allowed at the stadiums next year, we're going to take our little type car around the country, and you're going to love the Cittadella Stadium, Rory. It's right outside of Padova in this sort of medieval neighborhood. It's super low, it's not high at all. Ooh. I think you can actually climb up and look inside. You're going to like that one.
I'm excited already. Just quickly before we move on, sorry. We have a question from Hopeless Wanderer. What's the thoughts on Leicester bottling it? Yeah, I can't believe I forgot this game. I was looking at it through my notes. I did make notes. Leicester. So last season, they managed to lose, I think not win any of their last 3 games, so it meant that they weren't in Europe or they weren't in the Champions League. And this year, it looks like they could do the same. They lost at home to Newcastle 4-2. Now, I don't think even the most optimistic of Newcastle fans saw this score coming. So Newcastle were in great form, obviously got battered by Arsenal because, we're that good. But then somehow...
just like that.
Because you can't hold back the tide, right? But then they go away to Leicester and they pull off this incredible win. Willock scoring again. Why did we let him go from Arsenal? Why didn't we just play him? And then Wilson
you
getting
can't
to
stop the tide, Rory.
Exactly, and it looks like we might lose him as well. Anyway, Wilson getting to Paul Dummett and Albrighton, and of course Iheanacho scored for Leicester. Look, I think it's a psychological thing at this point. I don't know whether it is something with Rodgers or they've had a few injuries, like Harvey Barnes has been missing for a while, but I don't think that's really an excuse. Their squad should be good enough to see this out. I think, looking at the table, I think they'll stay fourth just because West Ham seem to be struggling. I think they'll be thankful that West Ham are not in form. So I think they will get top 4, but it will be more by luck than by design, I think.
Their last 3 games are going to be against United, against Chelsea, and against Tottenham. And in the middle of all this, they also have the FA Cup final against Chelsea. Do you think they can snatch 4 points out of 9 in these 3
So who is it?
games?
It's Chelsea, Tottenham, and
United, Chelsea, and Tottenham. Do you think they can get 4 out of 9?
United, Chelsea, Tottenham. I'm going to say they beat Tottenham and they get a draw against United.
They beat Tottenham, get a draw against United, and against Chelsea?
I think they lose to Chelsea, but I think the 4 points would be enough to keep them in there.
That's sometimes mathematics are the only thing that can help you. But West Ham, on the other hand, they take on Brighton, West Brom, and Southampton. So I could see 9 points coming from West Ham, but I don't know about. But however, they've been struggling. They've won only 2 in their last 5. So it's going to be so annoying to be a manager and look at the scores and be like, God damn it, we could have done it 2 weeks ago, guys. Like, God fucking
we
damn
could
it.
have this wrapped up by now. And especially when you see how the fixture list falls as well, you're like, oh, God, they've got 3 of the worst sides in form. Like, yeah, it's not good to see. Look, I'm going to hold out hope. But even if Leicester don't, I think their focus is on the FA Cup final anyway. For them to win the FA Cup would be huge. I hope they do it. I really hope they do it. And I think, they've kind of lost focus a little bit.
And especially to win it against the Champions League finalists, Chelsea, I think that would be an extra reason of pride. Hopeless Wanderer is saying that Man United are to play a reserve squad versus Leicester due to congestion. What do you think, Rory?
Well, I think they have to. They're playing 3 games this week in the space of like 6 days or something. They have to. You could see it at the weekend. Ollie was trying to think, right, who do I play in this game? Who do I play in the next game? Like, so I don't think it's... And he's come out and said, I don't give a crap how this affects the other teams. Like, I have to do this for fixture congestion. So, yeah, I think it could affect it and maybe Leicester snatch a draw there. Yeah.
Nice. So, Rory, I'm just gonna go Serie A kind of quickly because there are a few talking points that I would like to focus on towards the end of the app. Then we can preview this midweek section and kind of wrap up with the league action from this weekend. Well, the first thing that I have to say about Serie A is honor to a great manager and a great man such as Claudio Ranieri. The guard of honor is not mandatory in Italy. However, he did talk to the players in the locker room and he said, I feel like before we take on the pitch versus Inter, we need to honor them as the winners of the league. They have deserved it and we shouldn't be ashamed of doing a guard of honor. And everybody agreed. They did it. You're a class manager, a true gentleman, and it was nice to see.
Can I just say he might be the nicest man in football?
He's old school. He's he's from another era, I think, and sometimes it kind of clashes with the present. But when you see these things, it's actually beautiful. I'm not really gonna cover Inter's game, but I just want to say that I discovered that a pod favorite like Ashley Young is the first ever player to win both the Premier League and the Serie A. This he actually found out as well during an interview with Sky Sports UK, and he said coming to Inter was the right choice. It's incredible to be the first ever player to win both the Premier League and the Serie A. Now, he if you think about it, he left the club in January. It's never nice, especially a club that he has captained, played for so many years with, but then coming to Italy, a different league, kind of also a league with a certain, charm also in England. Super happy for Ashley Young.
It's just good to see him making his mark, right? He'll always be in that history book now. That's him. Like, he's always going to be there. We've said before, he's a player we really like. When he signed for Inter, I was like, I love seeing English players abroad. I fucking love it. And even love it even more when they're picking up trophies. So well done, Ashley. You are still welcome on the pod anytime if you happen to hear this by some chance.
Ashley, come on, Ashley. But the other thing that I want to say that is slightly interrelated, over the weekend, Hellas Verona and Torino drew 1-1. And guess who scored for Verona, Rory? If not...
I think I had on my... Wait, was it Di Marco?
Federico Di Marco, the Serie A defender, the only Serie A defender to score 5 goals this season. Guess who is he in loan from? Inter Milan.
This is why you're going to sell us Hakimi. You can have him and we'll have Hakimi.
All right, next. No, but I think it depends on him because he's really hit form. It depends if he wants to be a reserve player and get the experience at Inter again, maybe play some Champions League football and stuff. But I think that it could be a nice weapon for Conte. The only thing I worry about is his defensive ability, but 5 goals, hey, good job. And most of them are very sick. Talking about sick goals and controversial and very Italian moments, Benevento Cagliari 1-3. Goals by Lico Giannis. Oh my. I feel like this guy, he already made the news early in the season for scoring a Juninho Pernambucano-like free kick. And now he just scores an absolute screamer from outside the box within the first minute of play. Lapadula actually evened the score with his 3rd goal in his last 4 games, but then Pavoletti and Pedro made it 3-1 for Cagliari, who haven't lost since Inter on April 11th and have won 4 of their last 5. That's what you call fighting against relegation. But what happened in this game that made national news today? Basically, a penalty was given to Benevento, but then as the player was about to shoot, the ref said, hold up, VAR check, no penalty. Now, I kindly invite all of the listeners and the followers of the pod to go look at this replay. In my opinion, it's not a penalty. It is absolutely, it can be given, but with VAR, upon reviewing it, in my opinion, it is not a penalty. This morning on the radio, I did hear the mayor of Benevento. This is so southern Italy. The mayor of Benevento talking on the national radio, saying that it was a scandal. And his wife, luckily, his wife works in the Italian parliament, and he's going to ask for an official parliamentary investigation. Now, I am not into politics that much. I don't know how all these things work, but a parliamentary investigation? And as I was telling you, Rory, the radio host said, interesting. However, Benevento have won only 2 of all their games in 2021. Do you think that could also be the reason why they are maybe getting relegated? And he got so pissed off. Rory, what did you make of this scandal that made national news?
You summed it up perfectly with this is so Southern Italian. It's very, very Southern Italian. I finally managed to find a video of, is it Vigorito? His name? I can't remember. Obviously, Sky Italia were taking all the videos off Twitter, but I finally managed to see it. Now, my Italian is okay. I can understand it pretty good at this point. His accent was so heavy. The only thing I could get was "D'aspetta." That's the only thing I got. And then "un cazzo," and that's all I got in this 3-minute rant or whatever it was. yeah, it's not very dignified, is it? I think we've been talking about doing this topic in one of our pods for a while, and it's definitely going to come up like crazy chairman. And I think Italy has more than its fill of like loose cannon chairman that we could talk about. Did it surprise me? Not particularly. I wasn't surprised by any of it. I just thought, it's very Neapolitan. They're near Naples, aren't they? It's Campania anyway, isn't it?
Yeah.
Campanese, is that how you say it? Campanese?
Campano. Yeah, Steve is writing, did you see the Benevento director of football have a go at the referee after the game in the car park? Yes, I did. It really felt like early 2000s. There was Gaucci, the fat Perugia president, who, man, that is so funny, who calls the ref and is like, you are a piece of shit. You don't deserve to breathe. And people are like, dude, what the fuck are you talking about?
Is he the guy who locked a ref in the changing room as well? That's him, right?
No, that was Moggi. And
that was Moggi. That was Juventus. We're getting on to Juventus.
We are going to get there. But we were talking about relegation. So Benevento right now are in the drop zone. However, as the radio host today was trying to tell the mayor, you guys still have 3 games to play. Like, it's not the end of the world. The next one against Atalanta, and then 2 games against Crotone, that is already relegated, and 1 against Torino. On the other hand, this means it's actually very good news that penalty wasn't given to Spezia, because Spezia did lose their game against Napoli 1-4. Spezia, whom we have praised over and over again, haven't got any win in their last 5 games. They're making things a little hard for themselves, but Napoli, damn, what a team. And did you know, my friend Rory, that your fantasy football striker, Osimhen, is the 2nd youngest player in Europe's top 5 leagues to reach double-digit goals in the past 2 seasons? Of course, number 1 is Erling Haaland. But
the guy's a killer. I told you when he was coming into the league, I was like, this guy is going to tear it up. If he can just stay fit, he is going to murder Serie A. And since he's come back, his goal record has been insane. I noticed because I get the notifications on my phone because I was clever enough to buy him. Oh my God, the guy's unbelievable. If they can get a full season out of him next year, it's going to be frightening.
No, it is. And go look at these goals. Number 1 is all about speed and composure. Number 2 is a brilliant goal. Well, Insigne is very good at giving him the pinpoint pass from a free kick. But the whole movement, how he leaves the defender on his spot and is all alone, control with the chest, bang, in. It's absolutely great. Napoli haven't lost a game since their defeat to Juventus on April 7th. And back then we were talking about possible struggles. Well, not really, because they had pretty much won every game before then. But praise to Gattuso for really...
He's really turned it around, because he was looking at the sack like quite hard at one point in the season. So he's really turned it around. And now there's rumors that he's going to leave anyway. Could be coming to England, could be coming to Newcastle. Please, God, let that happen. But...
wow.
Yeah, that would be explosive.
One last thing before we go talk Juve and Juve only is that, here I'm saying it, somebody is going to come to Bergamo with a bag full of money and ask for Luis Muriel this summer. In all competitions, the guy has got 44 games, 25 goals and 11 assists. 21 goals only in Serie A this season. Somebody's got to come in with the money. His price tag is at 30 million euros, I believe, around there. Inter could be interested, but another striker that absolutely deserves a mention is, once again, the beast from Belgrade, forged underground. His name is Dusan Vlauvich. Holy fuck, what a player.
Man, this guy's ridiculous, eh? He's ridiculous.
Jesus, yeah, 21 goals. So right now, he's Serie A's 2nd top goal scorer on even goals with Lukaku, who is 27, and Muriel, who is 30. This guy is 21 years old. He can score however he wants. He's physically a beast, and I love the confidence. Little Panelka penalty against Juventus, no problem. yelling at my teammate for not passing me the ball, no problem. And it feels like he's got a great relationship with everybody in that team. I think that maybe I've said it already, in this generation of Haaland, Mbappe, this name Vlauvich is going to stick for quite some time. But Rory, finally, we get to talk. Hey,
Okay,
you introduce it. You introduce it. You go.
So it all looked so rosy. 9 in a row. They decide to invite a certain camera crew in to catch when the 10th title is going to be crowned and they can set world records. And it's all just gone horribly wrong for the Bianconeri and Mr. Pirlo, as it all seems to be falling around their ears, and it is beautiful to watch. Even though it's AC Milan, Tommy, you must have really enjoyed that game.
Dude, Milan, my same city. There you go, guys. Good job. Like, honestly, we were discussing it among friends. As an Inter fan, I would rather have Juventus not go to the Champions League because it would put such a big dent on their everything. Like, it would fuck everything up. Let's talk 1 second about the game, and let's talk then about the possible consequences of missing out in the Champions League in the little time that we have left. Rory, Juventus had 1 shot on target in 90 minutes of football. A shot by Bentancur, that was the only shot on target. What were your takeaways from Juventus' style of play?
Yeah, well, it just suddenly really looks very average there. All of a sudden, they don't even pray for Ronaldo anymore. They just pray for Chiesa and hope that he does something. There's like, I don't know, there seems like a lot of players who are just, average. Players like McKennie and Dybala still can't get a game. Like, really? Like, you're not even giving this guy a try when it's like,
no, it just seems like he did play yesterday. Dybala.
Oh, right, okay. Well, it probably says something about his performance then if I didn't notice. But
no, it seems like he was the only one who went close to scoring a goal last night. The thing about the thing that I heard, well, number one, I have to apologize because last week we had a weekly topic special about the most exciting youngsters in the Italian national team this summer, and I absolutely forgot, guys. It's been a long year, every week preparing for episodes. Sometimes the shit slips from our minds. I completely forgot to mention Chiesa, whom I think is the most exciting youngster in our squad. As a few Juventus fans were highlighting, there is the basics of football are missing from the team. I saw this clip on Twitter. I should have sent it to you, Rory, about all the missed triangles that Juventus didn't complete during the game yesterday. And I read a lot of Juventus fans saying, this is the basics of football. I teach 5-year-olds, you got to close your triangle, and then you restart another triangle. There were the amount of unfinished triangles and unfinished plays. Somebody wouldn't do his movement. They were there over and over again. Let's say that Pirlo's shouts from the sideline possibly are not that motivating. Hey, Bene! Hey! Hi, Benny. Hi. Come on, man. On the other hand, I have to give all the praise to the manager of AC Milan, Pioli, because he knew that 2-0 wouldn't be enough of a score. He went for the overkill with the 3-0, and that goal was really looked for, because now if they finish on even points with Juventus, AC Milan have a 1-goal advantage in the direct matches that they've played against each other. Juventus did win 3-1 in the first leg at the San Siro. AC Milan win 3-0. They've got a 1-goal advantage. Rory, how happy are you for your former Englishman, Fikayo Tomori?
So great to see. Like we said it when he signed, I was like, and I've said it earlier in this show, I love it when an English guy moves abroad. He was always really impressive for Chelsea when I saw him. It seems like he's had a really good impact at AC since arriving. It seems like the fans like him. They've kind of been impressed with what they've seen. He's done quite well. And yeah, for him to get, he's the first Englishman to score for AC Milan since David Beckham in 2009, which I did like. Yeah, great to see. Was really happy for him. Still hope to bump into him in Milan at some point. We have to at some point, right?
He's played only 13 games this season. He's been benched only 3 times, and he's already number 1 in the AC Milan squad for number of blocks per game, 1.3. He's number 3 in the number of tackles per game, 1.7, and still number 3 for clearances, 3.5 per game. The price tag is at 28 million. I did see a few posts on Instagram of people saying, "Don't screw this up." He's like, we often talk about the importance of a good center back. AC Milan have got it. Romagnoli was kind of going down. I think he's going to come up again. But Fikayo Tomori has been performing super well. Rebic, what an absolute screamer of a goal.
Yeah.
Really, like, they leave him 1 meter and he shoots on goal. And also the Diaz, the first
Both
goal.
of those goals were like, oh my God.
Man,
Yeah.
I don't know if you noticed something in the first goal. Chesney tried to imitate Donnarumma, who just went catching butterflies in the first half of the game. Donnarumma, you try and do that kind of shit this summer. I am going to find you. I don't care where you're going to be playing, but dude, I'm going to find you. Remember, I know your cousin. I've got my ways. Don't fuck it up, dude. I don't want to see that bullshit. Also, very interesting game for Donnarumma. Whoever makes it to the Champions League, I'm going to join them. That kind of style.
Yeah.
No, but on the Brahim Diaz goal, Chesney comes off his line, punches the ball. Diaz gets it, and at that point, Ibrahimovic goes behind the Chesney, and you see that Chesney is trying to get back to his line, and Ibrahimovic is like this with his open arms, and he's looking at Brahim Diaz like, I'm holding him back, like he's not going anywhere. And you see that Chesney like kind of sticks there, and then that beautiful curved shot. But what the fuck does this mean to Juventus? So many things. So number 1, it seems like it's going to happen that Juventus are either going to be excluded from next year's Serie A. That would be that would be crazy. I'm not holding out my breath for that.
Right, let's talk about this for a second.
Or they are going to be handed a massive fine. Go for it, Rory.
Would they just promote another team from Serie B? What would they do?
I don't know, would be just funny. But this time, send them to fucking Lega Pro, not Serie B. That clearly wasn't enough. And then there is the ongoing trial for the Suarez scandal. Like, hello, like Serie D, Eccellenza, like something like that. Piemonte Calcio, like they're called on FIFA. But what else does this mean? That maybe they're going to be handed a massive, massive fine for not backing out of the Super League. I don't know why they haven't backed out already. Roy and I, but you want to phrase what we were trying to guess they're going to do soon?
Yeah, well, I figure the next direction is that they can become the Harlem Globetrotters, right? They can just travel around the world taking on exhibition teams. Everyone can blow smoke up Ronaldo's arse for 90 minutes. And they can just, like a traveling circus. I think that's the closest they're going to get.
Can Cristiano Ronaldo juggle and shave his head at the same time? Like that kind of stuff. Like that challenge is worth 10 points. They would absolutely love it. But no, the other problems, jokes aside, are Dybala. Are you going to renew the contract? You definitely are not going to pay him the money that he's asking for. Cristiano Ronaldo, even if they make it to the Champions League, do you think that this man at the end of his career, he wants to stay in this fucking like a mess?
There's a few players making noises to leave already. Ramsey is already kind of making kissy faces at Arsenal to be like, boys, come get me back, please. Come get me. There's a few players that are looking for a way out already.
And then Pirlo, I think and I did talk to a Juventus fan this morning. He's a friend of mine. And he said, the thing that I find the most embarrassing, he was like, I thought we were going to win the league. After a bit, I realized we wouldn't. But then I have played football. I have coached the football. The thing that at least I hoped was to see at the end of the season, you watch a Juve game and you know what you're about to watch. I don't know. We play massively with our midfielders, or it's only long balls to the forwards. It was like the lack of planning behind every game of Juventus. He was like, this is getting... after 9 years of being used to see this dominant team that even if they play badly, they're going to win because they've got that drive. They don't have the drive. They don't have any plan. And even Ronaldo last night, he looked pissed. He looked pissed at his teammates. And apparently there are rumors, but I never know where these rumors come from, of him kind of like talking less and less to his teammates, being more and more isolated, not showing up to like a team dinner and stuff like that. Juventus, thank you for the season, but even more, thank you, Amazon Prime. I'm not a big fan of this super capitalistic company, but hey, I'm going to watch All or Nothing next year. Spoiler alert, Rory, it's going to be
nothing. Much like the Spurs version, it's going to be nothing. And honestly, if any club gets Amazon approaching them for a series, just say no. City are the only one who've managed to do anything near decent with it.
And Rory, I'm just going to quickly break down these midweek fixtures. Napoli take on Udinese tomorrow night at 8:45 p.m. On Wednesday, we've got Cagliari-Fiorentina at 6:30, Atalanta-Benevento, Bologna-Genoa, Inter-Roma, Lazio-Parma, Sampdoria-Spezia, Sassuolo-Juventus, and Torino-Milan, all at 8:45. Talking about La Liga, we're going to wrap this up very quickly, and it's very easy to say it. Nobody wants to win it. we created so much hype around this past weekend's games, and they were not that hyping. But what's the funny thing, Rory? I saw it on your notes. Who is Real Madrid's savior?
Hazard, in the way that only Real Madrid can be bitten in the arse. After all that melodrama midweek after the Champions League, of course, Hazard gets a last-minute equaliser to spare their blushes. Another reason that Real Madrid fans will be angry. I absolutely love it. Look, we're not going to say who we want. We're not going to say who we think. We just know that the title race is still open and it is exciting AF. In Spain, as the youth say. Speaking of exciting title races, should we quickly go to France?
Look, I'm just going to say these midweek fixtures in La Liga. We've got on Tuesday night, Levante Barcelona. Then we've got on Wednesday at 7 p.m., Sevilla Valencia. And at 10 p.m., Atletico Madrid Real Sociedad. And this midweek match day is going to be wrapped up by Granada Real Madrid at 10 p.m. It could sound exciting, but again, nobody wants to win it. So maybe it's not going to be that exciting. What about in Ligue 1, Rory? What's all the fuss about?
In Ligue 1, it could be over. Les Dogs only need 4 points from their next 2 games to wrap up the title as they beat Lens 3-0 away, but PSG slipped to a 1-1 draw against Rennes. And guess what happened in the PSG game, Tommy?
Neymar scored a penalty, and I did see his celebration, and it was awesome. He pulled up his pants all the way to the armpits. I think that was ridiculous.
In a team full of children, they got another red card as Kimpembe got sent off for a wild tackle, then was filmed in the tunnel using derogatory terms towards homosexual people aimed at the Rennes team and trying to start fights. So he's now going to have a 3-match ban, it's reported, because of his conduct after the game. It's all falling apart at PSG. Just quickly, this could be a trend in Pochettino teams because his Tottenham team had very little discipline as well. Towards the bottom of the league, it's all still to play for. All the teams lost at the bottom, apart from Nantes, who managed to win 3-0 to give themselves a bit of a lifeline. But midweek, we finally have the Coupe de France semi-finals. From Wednesday, we have Montpellier taking on PSG at 9 o'clock. And on Thursday, we have our favourite team for the competition, Rumilly-Vallière, take on Monaco at 9:15 on Thursday. But we are all pushing for Lille. Come on, Lille. Yilmaz scoring 2 goals again. It's ridiculous. I think it was 15 goals in 26 games this season. They got him for free. Their director of football needs a knighthood. He needs everything they want. That guy is a genius, Luis Campos. I wish he was at Arsenal. We're going to very quickly go to Germany, where shock horror, Bayern Munich won the title. It's their 9th in a row. Muller and Alaba have now won 10 Bundesliga titles. Koeman has now won 10 titles in a row, 2 Serie A, 2 Liga, and 6 Bundesliga. It's all very record-breaking. Lewandowski only needs 3 more goals to break Muller's record with 2 games left. I'm going to say he does it. And the big game of the weekend was Dortmund against Leipzig. Dortmund 3, Leipzig 2. Sancho getting 2 goals, absolutely killing it. It's going to be a long summer of transfer rumours of where he's going to end up. I'm going to say Manchester United or Liverpool. We're not sure where, but it will be one of them. That puts Dortmund into the Champions League spots. But the real drama, as always, is right at the bottom of the Bundesliga, where very quickly, 16th place, which is the relegation playoff, all the way to 12th are only separated by 5 points. So the relegation battle is mad. We have Köln, Arminia, Werder Bremen, and Hertha. And off the top of my head, Hertha still have to play Köln, and they still have to play Schalke. Köln have to play Arminia and Hertha, I think.
Off your head?
So they all play each other. All these teams play each other. It's going to be madness at the bottom of the Bundesliga. And one of the teams, one of Hertha play Mainz as well, who are impossible to beat at the moment, with Bo Svensson absolutely tearing it up. So still lots of drama at the bottom of the Bundesliga. I think we're done. I think that's Europe. There is midweek action in the Premier League. It's every night.
You guys can
Arsenal
go check
are going to
it
get
on your
battered
app.
by Chelsea. That's the big one.
No, and the big one on Thursday night, which we're not going to be covering because we will be recording, is the DFB Pokal final. Dortmund versus Leipzig. as Roy teaches us, Dortmund won over the weekend. Leipzig are going to win the final, right?
Exactly. That's how it works. That is how football works, people.
Guys, it's been a lot of fun to have. I don't know, today it has a particular taste. I don't know why, but it's great to see all of you here, guys, with us. We are going to see you again on Friday. Hopefully, we're going to have a guest with us to discuss everything you need to know from the Championship up all the way to the Premier League. And don't forget that Champions League final, we've made it official today. We are going to be covering. We're going to give a shot to the live stream. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Maybe if you like it, we can even bring back this format next season. This is all from me. I'll let you, Rory, send them off.
And finally, we are working on an end of season quiz. We're going to be trying to get a few pods involved, maybe some of your fine selves involved if we can manage it. So keep an eye out on our social media. Maybe prizes. We'll see what we can do. I'm making promises I can't keep.
I believe he said that he's making.
Will be an end of season. We will see you on Friday, guys. Have a good week.
Yeah, you froze big time, Roy. It was a kind of a choppy end.
Oh, that was like that was a really neat sign off as well.
Say it again.
Damn it.
Say it again. Hopefully, some of you are going to join us on the.
Hopefully, some of you will join us. We'll be able to get some prizes, maybe. But I'm making promises we can't keep. But we'll see. Have a good week. See you Friday, guys. This was the messiest. It went from the tidiest to the messiest send-off ever. God damn it.